How many of you make a cake, forget the candles, and have to do a last minute dash to the shops? Or worse, you spend hours making a cake for someone only to get that dreaded picture with horrible candles jammed into the cake wherever they would fit. Oh my God, that moment kills me every time. Hours and hours of work ruined in seconds. So for the love of cakes, can we please stop that today? Because I've got the perfect solution for you. I'm Christina Giorgio and I teach cake makers how to make personalised fondant figures for their cakes. And yes, this may seem a little bit off topic today, but it's something I need to share with you all because nothing hurts me more than seeing your beautiful cakes absolutely destroyed by awful, tacky, waxy candles and dreaded holes. So here's your answer. Large number fondant candles. I mean, it is so obvious. Why haven't we all done this sooner? I've created these large fondant or cookie number cutters, which include candle wicks with instructions. Obviously, we don't really need this today because I'm going to walk you through how to do it. But before we get into the how, let's talk about why. Well, firstly, they personalize the cake. It adds another element of design. They can be created in really cool ways that match different themes, and they are large, which means they take up decorating space, which is always a bonus. Big impact, less work, and it's one less stress for you or someone else scrambling around looking for candles. So say you're making a 70th birthday cake. 2 large numbers side by side will fill a 6-inch cake perfectly. Throw on some cute molded or cut out flowers and you have an amazing handmade topper in like 20 minutes. AI did this example for me, but you do get the point. Here's some real life examples so you can see how much it makes a difference to the cake. And while I show you these, if you want to learn how to make cake toppers like this, go and grab my full video series. It's completely free and it will kickstart your modelling skills. It's exactly what I wish I had when I first started. I'll drop it in the description. Okay, let's get into the how. You can use fondant with a little CMC, but it will take longer to dry out unless you use the quick drying methods I show in this video. I have to admit that I am always one of those people that are making cakes last minute the day before. So I tend to reach for the gum paste. However, this is not the most cost-effective option. If you're unsure about different pastes and when to use it, you can check out the video here too. Okay, let's get into making them.
This is a set of 9 different number cutters and it does everything. So the 6 is also the 9. Okay, now a lot of people ask me, where do you put the skewer to support each number? Well, obviously it would change with each one because the skewer is going to go into the cake or the dummy and it's going to go into the number to hold it up. So believe it or not, you don't have to go all the way through. If you leave your paste to dry, it will hold it enough. So for me, the number 9 would go through here. The number 7, it would go here. You don't have to go up any further than that. For the 8, you could even put 2 in because you've got this area here. Same again for the 0. I mean, you could go higher on the 0. We'll just put 1 in. For the 1, that's the easy one. And for the 2, I would put 2 in because you can't go up far enough. It's better to give yourself 2 shorter ones for more support. The 3, again, you could do the same thing with the 3. The 4 is the super easy one. And then the 5, again, you could do 2 little numbers. Just make sure that they come underneath here though. You can even tilt them so they're slightly like that as well, because you don't want to see the stick coming out the bottom here. So even a tilt like that. Now, what is super important is that when you make the hole, I'll show you in a minute, and you make the hole to go up, you don't actually put the skewer in with the point going in, because what can happen is if you put it in, so you've got your skewer in there, and you've popped it in like that, and then you've glued it so it stays like that and dry it, and then you cut here, what can happen is when you push it into the cake, sometimes this can push through, and because you've got this lovely pointed edge here, it helps it push it through the top. You don't want to do that if you haven't dried it enough. So I make the hole, work out the length here that you want for your cake, then chop it, then turn it around and pop it in and let it dry. Okay, let's get into it. Oh, actually, let's do a 9. So a little bit of tricks on your hand, just so you don't stick. Pull out your paste and then roll into a ball. Always roll into a ball. This is going to make sure we don't get any cracks down our number, and this is where it can look really unprofessional if we're not careful. And then I like to push it down just to give us a start. And then you want to roll it out and try and make sure that it's got equal thickness all the way around. I know I hate the corn flour normally, but you can use it for this, because sometimes if your paste is not got enough CMC in it, or you haven't used gum paste, it can be super soft and hard to get off the table, even with Trek, so I understand. But you can go thicker than that if you want to. That's all the paste I have, so that's what I'm going with. It's up to you how thick you want to do it. Perfect. That will do fine. So you can, at this stage, emboss it with whatever you like. There's so many different patterns that you can push down and create, and it just makes it, just jazzes it up really quickly, basically. I'm going to do wood grain effect. So I'm going to use my Dresden tool and take this side, which is the texture side, and I'm just going to make some wood grain. You don't have to have an embosser for this, which is always a good thing. One less thing to go and buy. And then when you've got your pattern, you can keep it plain if you want to, then you can cut it out. So we're going to push it down. Now, a lot of people do this when they cut things out. Don't do that. Use the whole of your hand and push down, and then give it a wiggle so you get a much nicer cut. Okay, and then you can take away the excess. Pop these bits out. Now, I didn't wiggle it enough around because of the camera, but normally I do wiggle it. So I want to show you a different way. Just take your finger and go all the way around and give yourself much nicer edges. I always do this, really important. Like, we can do things simply, but we must make them look professional and really like clean cut. I'm not going to go here because it's going to show, isn't it? So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to twist. Now, if I twist the skewer in, I'm going to get a smaller hole, which means I'm going to stick it on there better later. I always keep my finger on the top to make sure if I touch my finger to push it back down. We've got so much area here that you shouldn't be seeing it at all. Not on the front or the back. That's why it's nice to have the numbers quite nice and thick. I might say I'm putting this into a tiny little drum. I don't need it that long, do I? So I'll cut down now. Then I'll turn my stick over with lots of water. And I'm going to twist it back in slowly, slowly. So the blunt bit is now at the top. Use the heat from my hand to stick that down. You wouldn't actually have to put it in here. And actually, you might run into more problems if you did, because it would come through. That is more than enough. Believe it or not, when it dries, that will be absolutely perfect. Use the palette and add some brown around the outside. Obviously on kitchen towel, don't mind me getting it everywhere. So dust it up and just give it some shade. So if you've got a plain one, you can also add some dust to it as well. Sometimes I do them really plain coloured, like a purple, and then do like a bright purple or pink around the outside, just to like jazz it up a little bit. And you'll see the difference. Like, even if I just added a bit of yellow on here, really makes it look more wood grain effect. You get these in a pack. Now, these are super long. I've burnt them quite a few times, honestly. You don't need a lot of candle wick coming out. You could probably get 3 out of these easily. I would just cut them down and cut them into 3. And I've even blown them out and lit them again quite easily. What I prefer to do is take a toothpick, twist that in first, and then twist that back in, little push down, and that will just dry, and then you can light it really easily.
You can grab my candle cutter set in the description below and use the code TCA to grab yourself 25% off. Just for watching through to the end of this video. Your support means the world to me. That, and I can't bear the thought of someone ruining your cakes. Check out my other videos coming up and I'll see you there. Bye.